Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to Pop and Culture Podcast, episode 66. I'm Jay.
I'm Adrian.
We're back with more comics, more TV, more movies, more beer. And since we're recording on 420, we are both high right now.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, is that just me?
No. We're recording?
What? No.
Okay, hold on. I need some beer.
Okay.
And I really do need some beer because it is fucking hot.
So I read an article 2 days ago. We've now, for the month of March, it's April now, but the month of March broke the highest average temperature worldwide record.
We are also currently having the hottest April we've ever had.
Yes. So here's the thing I think is funny about the March record breaking is that record that it broke was set in February of this year. And February broke the record that was previously set, which was set in January. In fact, we are in the 11th straight month of breaking that record, which in itself is a record.
I think we're going for a whole year.
So
keep it going.
Whoever comes and tells me next that global warming is not a thing, I'm going to say, fuck you, it is.
No, man. Look, that's just what Bernie Sanders wants you to think. Okay, let me tell you what the God King Trump says.
Jeez.
All right, seriously, I need some beer. And this particular beer has been talked about on our show many, many times. It is finally the Black Raven Kitty Cat Blues. You can smell the blueberry. You're going to taste the catnip. It's going to be amazing.
All right, here goes
Ready?
nothing.
Cheers. It's as good as I remember. It's
It's all right.
Join us next week where our new permanent host will be Frugal Brutal. It's all right.
No, I mean, it's so I came to the conclusion last week or over the last week, I am bored with beer. Which, not to say I don't enjoy beer,
Okay.
because I do. But I know you had a very strong reaction to this.
I
when
love
you
this
first tried
beer.
it. But when was the last time you had a beer where you're just like, that just changed beer for me altogether?
Now we're gonna. I don't know if it's because we're both stoned right now or what. I have very much started drinking much more whiskey, as you know I love.
No, and I'm
to find
I'm
more
the same
whiskeys
way.
that I like.
I'm doing more whiskey than anything right now.
I went to Whole Foods because I knew they had cases of this left.
Right.
And they were all out when I went today. Because the bottle I got last week I've already drank.
Okay.
So I had to go get another one. I'm like, how are they all out? So I asked the guy who does their beer. He goes, yeah, someone just bought the last case we had. Like, literally just bought the last case. I'm like, damn it.
So you went and knocked on every door in the parking lot? And
I asked for a list of all the usual beer drinkers. No, someone like, all right, let me look through the section and see what else they had that might pique my interest. It took me 20 minutes to find a beer. I was all like, all right, I will drink this beer.
Right.
However, the one I got was Breaking Point's Salted Caramel Stout.
Okay.
So we'll have that for next week.
Sure. So that kind of leads into my point in that, I can drink a stout and I'll enjoy it. I can drink an IPA and I'll more or less enjoy it. Like porters, I love, everything like that. But it's gotten to the point now where these micro brews are so mainstream that now they're not special.
No, there are no special. Like, at this point, you find it's like Coke and Pepsi. There's RC and everything else. You find the one you like and you just kind of drink it.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying where you're like, it's time. I would be happy to start doing more alcohol and more things like that. It's how much they cost.
Right.
Now, with that said, I'm well aware that buying a bottle of whiskey is actually cheaper than buying bombers of beer. Because we'll
in
get...
the long run,
Yeah,
yes.
we'll get 20
but
drinks out of
it's
that.
more of an investment.
Not only that, but it takes much longer to drink. My liquor cabinet's already pretty deep.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, something like what you said, a salted caramel, like that's what I have to do now. Is I have to go out and I have to find things with like infusions to your normal recipe that you would normally have. Which is why like the beer fest that they have in Everett every year, one of the requirements they do is, I can't remember what they call it now. But the breweries have to bring at least one beer that has a infusion in it,
or some brewed in particular. Yeah.
So it gets them out of their norm. Like, it's okay, it's an IPA, but it's an IPA infused with something.
It's like the I think when we went that time, we had the jalapeno
Mm-hmm,
ESB, which I did not like.
No, you didn't. I enjoyed it more than you did.
You did.
But yeah, so I'm at that point now where if I'm drinking beer, I almost have to find something that's that much farther left.
Nope.
It can't just be an IPA anymore. Now it has to be a special IPA.
I totally understand.
So.
And there are some, like Elysian was one that really kind of spearhead making unique different things.
Right.
They have the day glow. They got super fuzz, which is a blood orange. And it's not that they're not good, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So.
And that's one of the things I found interesting. I talked on our last episode when Frugal was here about that Copperworks distillery.
Yes.
Now I have the option of not only having a vodka, but I have a vodka that is made from a different grain, so it actually does have a different flavor profile. Now I think my next thing is micro distilling. I have to find good micro distilleries.
It's so pricey.
I know.
And the other question I had, actually, if you ever go back or if you want to go together,
Absolutely.
their gin. Gin is made out of juniper berries, so I'm curious.
So what they do is they have their malted barley start.
Okay.
That they do their normal distilling. So their vodka and their gin and their whiskey actually are all, the first distilling process is the same in all of them.
Okay.
The vodka actually just goes through the one time and then they age it a little bit and it's vodka. The gin will go through the distillery and then it goes into the what do they call it? Not a gin oven, but the gin.
Sure, I know what you're talking about.
Still, I guess.
Thank you.
And then in the still, it has all of the junipers and the florals in there.
Okay.
So it still goes through that process. It just starts differently. And then the whiskey obviously would go through the process and then get put into the charred barrels and age, which I got 4 more months until that's ready.
So that's ready.
Which a couple people that I went on the tour with pre-purchased bottles from the first batch.
Look there is a barrel at Maker's Mark with my name on it.
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
that thing ages, I can't wait.
And one of the interesting things that Copperworks is doing that I thought was cool was a lot of their whiskey they're doing new barrels, but a portion of it is done in various different types of barrels that have had different things in it, so you can get different flavor profiles, and that's what I'm excited about.
Interesting.
To compare batch 1 straight to batch 2 that has, this was an old Jack Daniel's barrel, or this was a beer barrel, or that sort of thing. So
okay, no, I'm looking again. I'm always happy to branch out. I'm always happy to try new things, and I love alcohol, so there's no reason not to.
Right.
Okay.
Cool.
Sweet. Let's talk some TV news then.
Okay.
What have you been watching?
I have been watching. I didn't watch a ton of things, but in addition to the normal Flash and Arrow and Walking Dead's over now, so we haven't watched that. Big Bang Theory, like all my normal things. I enjoy Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
I know a lot of people don't.
Yep.
I think it's funny.
I will say really fast. I considered watching. I've seen it once or twice, and I just don't like it. I was so irritated. Jess and I walked into, I want to say the Gap or someplace.
Oh.
I don't know. We were shopping at the mall.
Sure.
And the girl goes, "Oh, you're wearing the Sheldon shirt." And I looked down, and it's a Green Lantern T-shirt. And I'm all like, I was like, it didn't hit me. She goes, "From Big Bang Theory. That's the shirt that he wears." I go, "Oh, yeah, that's not where this is from." She goes, "Yeah, that's a Big Bang Theory shirt." And I'm all like, you do realize this is a property?
Okay.
And she's like, "No, that's something they made for the show." I'm like, "Oh my God, I need to hit you so hard."
I understand that is the problem that a lot of people that are into what is considered nerd culture have with the show, is that there is a big appeal to people that aren't familiar with the nerd culture, and they don't understand the connections. So they're like, "Oh yeah, Sheldon wears that shirt. It's funny." So I get that. I get it, and I can't argue against it. But I enjoy the show. But Jess and I have been watching The Voice this season.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Catching up on Hulu. So we've been watching a bunch more of that. We're in, I think, we finished the knockout rounds. So then the only episodes we have left are what were the actual live shows, which we're obviously not watching live.
Right.
And then I watched the first season of Vikings.
Ooh, how was it?
Fucking amazing.
Okay.
I love this show now.
Better than Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. One of the hard things for me on the show, though, so Game of Thrones, pretty much everybody has a normal American accent.
Sure.
This show was produced for the History Channel, because sure, and it was a joint production between a Canadian and an Irish studio. So most of the characters are from Ireland or England and have very thick brogues. So the first couple episodes I actually had to watch with subtitles on just so I could catch on to like the way they speak.
Okay.
But very good, very good. For those who aren't familiar with the show, it takes place back in the day of the Vikings in the, I want to say like the 700s, so the 8th century or something like that. And Vikings used to go on raids every year, and they would go towards Germany and France and that sort of thing. And there's this one guy who was like, well, why don't we try going the other way this year? But the guy that was the Lord of the Vikings said no. So this guy builds his own ship and goes anyways and finds England and a shit ton of gold. So now the Vikings are like, yeah, you're going to be our new leader. So super good.
Okay.
I definitely recommend it. I also watched the first season of Under the Dome. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
Kinda. Is that the show where they all live in the like a biosphere type thing for a year? And
No.
Okay.
So this one, it's just a random small town. I don't know if they even ever say what state it's in, but one day a dome just appears out of nowhere and encloses their entire city. They don't know where it came from. They can't figure out how to get rid of it.
You're watching Convergence, the TV show?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, but pre-convergence.
Ooh.
So
wow.
this was there before it was cool. Hipster convergence.
Hipster Convergence. Does one dude at least have a beard and glasses? Always wears flannel jeans even though it's hot out?
Yeah, he was the radio DJ.
Nice.
Yeah. But you watched Breaking Bad, yes?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind.
Okay.
One of the stars of the show was one of the guys from Breaking Bad.
Okay.
This is what he did right after that. So on one season in, it lasted 3 seasons. They haven't figured out how to get the dome out yet. But it's good. And then I started watching Nashville. I'm 8 episodes into Nashville.
No. Why? Why did you elect?
Because I like Connie Britton from Friday Night Lights.
I like Connie Britton, and I like Hayden Panettiere's husband. Yeah, I still have no desire to watch Nashville.
All right.
Is it?
I like it because it's I mean, it's a drama, but it's got a lot of really good music in it.
Right.
And it's now spurred a debate between my wife and I, who have for a while said we want to go on vacation to New Orleans at some point.
And now you want to go to Nashville?
Well, now we're like, do we go to New Orleans or do we go to Nashville?
I hear vacation in Nashville is supposed to be amazing.
Yeah. And it's got all kinds of really good live music places, and there's still good barbecue there. And then on the flip side, New Orleans has a lot of good, really good blues and jazz places and Cajun food.
It's funny you say those two things because it may just be the munchies talking, but that reminds me of 2 restaurants I've recently read about in the Seattle Times.
Okay, which ones?
One is in Queen Anne. I don't have the name in front of me.
Okay.
But it is an authentic Cajun Creole restaurant.
Oh, interesting.
Where it's all served kind of like family style kind of thing. You need like eating crawfish and all that stuff.
Okay.
The other is a restaurant that serves actual Nashville hot chicken. And you can
not the KFC.
Not KFC.
Okay, I was gonna say I've heard of KFC.
And you can order it in varying degrees of heat.
Interesting.
And apparently it's supposed to be amazing.
Okay.
Because the guy is from Tennessee, not Nashville, but from there.
Sure. Knoxville. I mean.
So the way I see it, we get Creole for lunch, and then we go to Cloudburst, and then we get a distillery, and then we just go finish it off with some chicken, and Uber
then,
home.
Yeah, I mean, maybe hit up a show at the Showbox.
I don't see why not.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
It's our tour of the Southeast right there.
There you go.
All right.
Plan set.
So that's all the new TV that I've been watching. What have you been watching?
So Archer, the new season starts next week.
Okay.
And I didn't realize I was a season behind.
Oh.
I thought I was caught up. Apparently I was wrong.
Okay.
So I caught up on Archer. Love it as always. Like, it's just a great, funny show.
Yeah.
A new show I watched, because you mentioned reality TV show, I tried the first episode of American Grit.
Is this the John Cena?
It is the John Cena host.
Oh.
The full.
That's so bad.
Did you watch it?
No, I watched the trailer and I felt scarred.
So Jess and I also watched the trailer, and there's this one point where that woman passes out from the ice.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to see was that bitch get passed out. Because I assumed that would be the first episode, that they just show stuff from the first episode.
No, that's like episode 4.
Yeah. Well, it sure wasn't the first episode.
No.
So the way it worked, it's got a Army Ranger, a Navy SEAL, a Marine, and I can't remember who the fourth one was.
Sure as hell is an Air Force.
No. So they have the four people in the military that choose. Each one leads a team.
Right.
And there's 4 teams, and they chose the people they want on their teams from like the group available.
Yeah.
And they all have to perform all these tasks. Whatever team loses has to nominate one person to go into what's called the circus.
Okay.
And the circus is this crazy obstacle course where at the end there's an endurance test. And one of them, they do the endurance test until someone fails.
Oh.
So this endurance test was you had to hold a pulley that had 55 pounds on it.
Okay.
And after the first hour, you had to switch to one hand.
Oh,
And then you just go.
Okay.
And obviously you don't sit there for 55 minutes, but it shows it. So watching it, it was very clear there's one guy that Jess and I were both like, I can't stand you. You are the douchiest thing in the world.
Sure.
And to the point where in their first competition, he called out the Marine leader saying, you directed us wrong. You are a bad coach.
What?
And John Cena just ripped him a new one.
Oh, okay.
Like a complete new one. Because he was like, look at while you were in high school, that woman was doing blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
When you were in college, she was fighting. Like, and that's the way you speak. Because he actually has a huge love and affinity for the military, like an actual. It was also nice to see him not portraying like his character, but he's just clearly a host.
Okay.
So he's on the screen for maybe 4 minutes total.
Yeah.
But we were so happy because come the endurance test, he's the one who got washed out.
Nice.
Because it's not like other reality shows. Like, even if you watch Top Chef and everything else, if you read the description, it says final decisions were made by executive producers, not by the actual, you know. So it was nice to see them actually get eliminated just because that's it. They couldn't cut it.
Yeah.
Because if you were actually their producer, you'd be like, well, let's keep that guy. He's good TV.
Right.
He's an enemy.
He's causing drama.
Right.
Yeah.
And even in the voice and all that, it still has some influence.
Yep.
Where in this, it's like, nope, very much he just wrung out.
Yeah.
And that's all there was to it.
Nice. So it's not a horrible show.
It's not a horrible show. It's not at all as bad as I thought it would be.
Okay.
However, I don't know if I'm in for an hour-long episode once a week.
Oh.
If it was half-hour episodes,
Yeah.
I'd be down with that.
Yeah.
Still haven't seen the lady pass out from the ice, but I'm guessing that might be one of the endurance challenges. How long can you stay in that packet of
That
ice
would make
for?
sense, yeah.
Yeah. So that was American Grit. We watched the Brooklyn Nine-Nine season finale this morning.
Okay.
Love that show. Like, every time I watch that show, I'm like, I don't know why more people don't watch or talk about this show. It's great.
Because it's on Fox.
It is on Fox. And they have one other good show. Empire. They got Empire.
I'm behind on that show because it's back, you know.
Yeah, season 2 is almost over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're like, I guess now 4 episodes behind.
Oh, no, I can't. Much like some comic books, I can't do Empire episodically.
Okay.
I gotta binge because otherwise I'm like, well, what now? I just need more cookie in my life.
So it's
More
funny
cookie.
because every time Jess, like, we sit down to watch TV, she's like, all right, what do we have to watch? I'm like, oh, we've got like 1 episode of this, 1 episode of that, 3 episodes of Empire. She's like, we're so far behind on Empire, I just don't want to start it.
That's
And I'm
exactly
like,
right.
I'm like, but
Nope. Nope. And it is, we binged season 1.
okay.
Because I didn't want to watch it, but I really enjoyed the music. Like,
Yeah.
I had the soundtrack, I enjoyed the music, and everyone's like, you got to watch it. I'm like, it's so douchey. It's a bad portrayal of Jay-Z. Like, I don't want to watch it.
So here's my question for you, though. So
Go.
this is the first season that we're watching shows on Hulu, because before we had real cable, because we were idiots. How long does it take for an episode to disappear? Like, if I wait too long, is that...
So each network has different availabilities.
Okay.
So, for instance, the CW, like Flash, it's only got like the last 5 episodes and it goes away.
Right.
Fox is one of the ones that have the agreement on where they keep all the seasons.
Okay.
All the
Okay.
time.
So if I wait till it's over, the
Sure.
first one's not going to be gone.
You can still watch all of season 1.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I'll be waiting for Empire to the completion.
Sure.
Which is hard because every time I see a commercial for it, it's on my queue. I'm all like, well, what's going on? Well, wait a minute. There's Jamal, but why is he with and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Did you watch this week's Flash?
I have not yet. No.
Okay.
Because it was on last night.
Yep.
And I probably won't watch it till tomorrow.
It was very meh.
Sure.
Like, we'll talk more about it when you watch it. There's a couple things I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
You'd have to see it.
Okay.
And the last thing I kind of want to watch is, as we all know, I did WrestleMania.
Oh, you are watching all of the wrestling now, aren't you?
No, just Raw.
Okay.
And here's the hard part. The one after WrestleMania, I was very much like, meh, about. Then I watched the following week. I'm like, hey, that was a lot of fun. Then I watched this week's. I'm all like, I struggled to finish it.
Okay.
Like, I was literally struggling to finish it to the point where I was sitting on my couch, and instead of watching it, I was editing Lisa's and highlighting Lisa's with it just in the background.
You're making money. That's fine.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I was into wrestling, I think that was one of the problems I had too, where they'd have these story arcs. Because, I mean,
Sure.
For those of you who don't know, it is fake. Spoiler alert. What?
Sports entertainment.
Yeah, it is sports entertainment. Entertainment being the key word. But yeah, they have storylines that very much were ebbs and flows.
Ebbs and flows.
They would be able to work in a couple really good ones on this night, and then they'd have to wait a couple weeks because of all these different things that were going on.
Different things going on, or someone might be injured, and
Right.
this time they're out of the country, so not everyone's there.
Yep.
And
One of the most interesting things to me when I read Wikipedia articles about the wrestlers, because the fuck else am I going to do at
Sure.
work? Is it'll talk about, oh, they were being set up for this really big storyline for something, and then there was an injury that they were out 8 months, and I'm like, so what happens during that? Like, they hope people forget that they were building that up. Like,
you have somebody like interrupt one of them. You just have to start a new feud right away.
yeah, it's crazy. That's been going on, especially WWE's been around for what, 40 years now?
Yeah, something like that.
So it's crazy.
The reason I bring it up though is because the notorious one.
Yeah.
So, as you all know, I also watch UFC. We'll be watching it this Saturday.
It's a true story.
Conor McGregor, the notorious one, announced his retirement yesterday.
Yeah.
All the rumors,
Which nobody's confirmed yet. Like, obviously, he set a Twitter out.
Dana White has taken him off everything.
Okay, so it has been.
Yep, Dana White has said he's officially not on the card for 200.
Okay, because when I looked this morning, that wasn't.
Yeah.
was
So
still in
Dana
the
White
air.
was like, nope, he's out. He's not in for 200.
Such bullshit.
And then I found out a couple different things. The big rumor is he's going to WWE. So the reason is apparently he was at WrestleMania 32.
Okay.
He was seen talking with the McMahons somewhere else. He's now following them all on Twitter and starting to comment and talk with them.
Okay.
So everyone's like, all right, well, it seems like he's going to be going to WWE.
Right.
And then more things came out about why he retired that makes it seem that he's in it for the money. It came out released that Conor McGregor, for his Nate Diaz fight at UFC 200, wanted Dana White to guarantee him a minimum of $10 million.
What?
And that's the reason he hasn't been doing any press for it.
Yeah.
That's the reason he hasn't been talking about it. It's because he's trying to hold out for that money.
Right.
So finally Dana White put his foot down and McGregor said, fine, then I'm out.
So you heard what his paycheck was for the last Diaz fight,
I
right?
don't remember.
It was $1 million.
There you go.
And he lost.
Yes, he did.
And it was the biggest single payout for any fighter in UFC to date. So the fact that he's asking for 10 times that when he lost is ridiculous.
Let me throw this to you this way, however, on the side note. Last year, Triple H, who only wrestled 6 matches, but because of all his promotional stuff, made $1.7 million just in his WWE, not his as a character.
Right.
Not as CFO.
Yep.
Not for endorsements,
Yeah.
not for anything else. So if Conor McGregor can come into the WWE, get a percentage of all the shirts that get sold, all the endorsements, and get paid about $2 million on top of everything else
Yeah. He's gold.
fake fight,
Right.
he's looking at about an $8 million a year
Yep.
payday, which is completely different than $10 million and you may possibly die. So if he's looking at it from a money perspective, like how they were reporting on now, that just makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing is like WWE is such a moneymaker for its top stars now.
Well, look who's in WWE. You have 5 former Olympians.
Yep.
You have all these people. Shaquille O'Neal was in. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And Connor's not the first UFC guy to go over to the WWE.
Nope.
You got Brock Lesnar.
Well, Brock Lesnar started in WWE, went to UFC.
Right.
And then he realized the payday was better
Yep.
at WWE and didn't get hurt.
But and then this is showing how long it's been since I watched WWE. I think like 10, 12 years ago there was Shane Black. What was his name?
Yeah.
Blackman?
Yeah, I know
Something
what
like
you're
that.
talking
Yeah.
about,
Yeah, another guy that came from UFC, went to the WWE, had a great career there, made a lot of money.
On the flip side, you have people like CM Punk, who is huge in wrestling, wants to go to UFC, hasn't announced a match yet because he's realizing he can't cut it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Yeah.
All right. That's all my TV news.
That's it for me too.
Did you watch any movies?
I did.
Ooh.
So 3 movies on my list. We watched Captain America: Winter Soldier because I had never seen it.
Ooh, and
I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
it's fantastic. It's probably their best movie.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that have happened after that that made more sense after seeing that. And now going into Civil War in 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
I'm gonna understand a lot more of the Bucky storyline now.
Yeah.
And Justin never seen that either, so that worked well. We also watched. So we've been watching the Daredevil season 2 on Netflix, and she keeps asking questions about Punisher. Because they obviously Punisher goes in there and they touch on the fact that his family died and that's why he became Punisher, but it's not very in depth. So I'm like, well, if you watch like the 2003 movie with Thomas Jane, it definitely goes into it. She's like, oh, I never saw that. So we watched that.
Does that hold up? I didn't think so.
Well, I can't answer that like with a no because that would say that it was a good movie in the first place.
Okay.
I would say it stays level with where it was.
Okay, that's a fair response.
Which, with all the movies that come after it, is kind of down here.
Sure. But at the time, that and Blade were amazing.
Blade's still amazing.
Ooh.
I mean, come on. I'm talking Blade 2, not Blade 1.
Oh, Blade 2, the Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, and Blade 3 doesn't exist. So
that's the first time you see Ryan Reynolds get ripped.
Yeah, so we watched this, and there's that scene where Ben Foster gets all his face piercings ripped out.
Yeah.
I still can't watch that
Nope,
shit.
that's
As somebody who's had facial piercings, especially, I just can't watch it. But so we watched that like 2 nights ago, and then the other movie we watched, or that I watched, is This Is the End.
Oh, yeah. With Seth Rogen, James Franco.
As Seth Rogen and James Franco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Channing Tatum as the Gimp.
Yeah, and Jay Baruchel as the guy that hates LA.
Yeah.
Because he's a Canadian hipster, yeah. It was not great. It was not great at all. Like, so, there was definitely parts in there where I'm like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
But that was few and far between.
It is, for me, one of those movies where you see once and you're like, okay, a couple of those scenes are pretty funny. I never want to see this movie again.
Like, I don't even ever want to see the physical DVD of this movie again. But now I can say I've seen it.
Which is funny because their Christmas movie they did with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Anthony Mackie was fantastic. I would watch that again in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and I haven't got around to watching that one yet, but I will.
Okay.
So yeah, the night before, right?
Yeah, the night before.
Yeah. Okay, so that was it for me for movies for me. Did you?
I did. I watched a couple. I got Justice League Atlantis.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that one.
It was not as good as Justice League War.
No.
But I still enjoyed it.
Yeah. Those are the 2 in that series.
Well, no, the third one's out now. Justice League Teen Titans.
I heard that wasn't part of the same.
So apparently, since Justice League War, they're going to be in continuum.
Okay.
So I haven't watched it, but that's what I was told. Just like how all the Batman movies are now in continuum, all the Justice League movies are now going to be in continuum.
Okay. And I've heard the Teen Titans one is.
I got a hard on for Nightwing, so what are you going to do?
No, I know. My coworker watched it not knowing. So it's again based on a storyline from the comics. He didn't know the storyline, so he was like, "What? Why are?" And I'm like, "It's fine. Don't worry about it." So, anyways, Atlantis.
Yep, I thought it was fine. Like, I enjoyed watching it. I'm glad I watched it. There were parts of it that were just,
Yep.
The thing is, actually, this is gonna kind of come full circle. I watched Batman vs Superman again for a second time.
Okay.
Because my wife didn't go with me the first time.
That's fine.
So I took her. And same thing with Justice League Atlantis. Not being a comic fan. Like, she doesn't know anything about Darkseid. She didn't know who the parademons were.
Right.
All this stuff. So she had all these questions in Batman vs Superman. And she's like, I don't get it. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if you watch the Justice League movies or even the old cartoon, they can sum it up in half an hour more clearer than this 2.5 hour movie could.
Yeah.
I watched the Justice League animated cartoon recently because the first 3 episodes are when they all come together.
Yeah.
Which then joined is only, 60 minutes?
Yep.
62 maybe?
I think it's 66. I think they're 22 minutes each.
And it was a clearer, more precise story than this full-length feature film, which blows my mind.
Well, so here's my thought on this. I think it's because they were targeting different audiences. The non-comic fan probably didn't tune into the Justice League animated show. Right?
But here's the thing. Even if you weren't, you got the full story.
Right. Yes. I think the problem is with the Batman vs Superman movie, they are showing the mindset of we're building this cinematic universe still and trying to set things up that they were trying. They try to cram too much stuff into too long of a movie.
I'm going to counter your argument with this then. They're building a universe, right?
Yep.
Much like how that first premiere was building a season. They're both building a universe, and they still did it much better on a much lower budget. To me, that is just superior script writing.
Okay.
And it blows my mind that a children's cartoon can do it so much better. Just make a clearer story.
Would you really consider that a children's cartoon?
Season 1, I would.
Okay, fair enough.
Much like Teen Titans, season 1 was much lighter, and they're like, oh, clearly...
Teen Titans or Young Justice?
I'm sorry, Young Justice.
Yeah.
And then very much they're clearly like, oh, our audience are 30-year-old dudes, so let's go ahead and switch.
Our demo is that guy that's still in his mother's basement, but we're going to make it darker.
Yeah, I'm going to grow my ponytail out for that.
So yeah, I would say I overall enjoyed Batman vs Superman. And I think we talked about that before. But I do get what you're saying, where there was a lot of elements in there that they threw in there, but there was no context behind it, which could have been pushed to a farther movie. But
because here's the problem. Yeah. I understand in maybe the next movie, the movie after, we're going to learn who Darkseid is. We're going to learn the relationship to the Omega symbol. We're going to learn the parademons. We're going to learn all those things. But no one's going to go back and rewatch it and be like, oh, now I get it. You already lost them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When's the last time you went back and rewatched the first Avengers movie to see if the other movies hinted at stuff from there?
The last time I watched the first Avengers movie is when we saw it before the second Avengers movie.
You see my point then,
right?
No,
I get, and I totally get it. Yeah.
Okay. Switching gears, the other movie I saw was called Hardcore Henry.
Okay. So I've only heard of one other person that I know that has watched this. So I'm curious to see how you felt about it. First, did you make it through the whole movie?
I did.
All right. You already went up on him.
Yeah. So I've heard a lot of people say they got motion sickness.
Yep.
A lot of people say they couldn't handle it. For those of you who are not familiar with Hardcore Henry, it was a YouTube video, and it was all done first person. So a guy has a helmet on with a GoPro and does all these crazy stunts and parkour, but it's all first person. The other problem is it's an 1.5 hour long movie that does not stop.
Right.
It is constant action, shaking, head moving, bodies throw, flips. So you're constantly seeing this from that angle, which is very jarring. It gave me a headache at first, and then I learned how to deal with it.
By leaving the theater?
No. So essentially what I did is when I started getting the headache, we saw it at the Cinnabar, I just moved my head down and I stared at the mustard bottle for like 30 seconds and I just went back to the movie.
Yeah.
So I could still see the movie in the peripherals, but I had a solitary point to focus on. I went back to the movie.
Okay.
I made it through the movie at that point, not a problem.
Okay.
It was completely fucking ridiculous. Like it was more action than I've seen in a movie in a long time. Realizing that the stunts are all done by this dude who has like a GoPro essentially on his head is amazing.
Okay.
When you think of the fact that he's on top of a car, throws in a grenade, flies backwards, and lands on a motorcycle as it's driving, blows my mind. Now, I understand that what really happened was he was on that car and he's attached to a rig that pulls him back, but he still landed on a moving motorcycle, and you still saw them speed away.
And the extra difficulty of that is if the camera's attached to his head, he can't like look back to time it.
And he doesn't.
Yeah.
Like literally you see him looking at the car, nothing but air, and then suddenly on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
But it's all one shot. Like, it's not cut.
Right.
There were a couple cut scenes when they go from like different locations, but very, very rarely was there a cut scene. Like, it'd be like he goes in the elevator and the elevator door closes, and they open on a different level. Like, you can tell, okay, that was probably the cut scene because elevators don't move that fast.
Right.
But otherwise, it was like, I give them credit for it being really well done.
Okay.
The other thing I liked about it is there was a bunch of weird shit in it that they didn't explain, and they didn't need to. Like, the main villain had telekinesis to varying degrees of strength. He could touch you, send you flying. He could crush your head, or like all this crazy stuff. Did they ever explain why this dude was super powerful? No. Did they need to? Fuck no. It was awesome that he was.
Awesome.
And you're just like, yep, I totally accept that this dude has the power. Fine.
Okay.
All in all, I can't say that I recommend it.
So I shouldn't go see it?
No.
Okay.
Like, if you saw the trailer and you're like, that looks like fun, follow it up. It is an hour and a half long of the trailer. You saw the trailer and were like, meh, then you're going to have an hour and a half long of meh.
Okay. Cool.
So, Hardcore Henry.
Who was a big sponsor of Emerald City Comic Con this year?
Were they?
I saw Hardcore Henry stuff all over the place this year.
It was all Russian. Russian actors, filmed in Russia, produced by Russia, directed by Russia. They had the best disco in Europe, bro. Speaking of Emerald City, you want to talk about some comic book stuff? Some Emerald City stuff, particularly?
Sure. We can do that.
All right. First off, let's put a disclaimer on this. The comments about to be made by Jay do not reflect both hosts of Pop and Culture Podcast.
No, nor are they affiliated in any way with the owners, promoters, or affiliates of Emerald City Comic Con.
That is true. We have no affiliation whatsoever.
No, we're just people.
Mm-hmm.
We were just attendees this year.
It was so let's start off there.
Okay.
It was the first year ever that Jay and I have ever actually attended the Emerald City Comic Con.
Not true. I've been there as an attendee one time prior.
It's the first time I've ever attended after being there for 8 years.
Right.
So their volunteers are called minions.
Yes.
I've never been a minion. I've actually been
a department head.
I've been a director.
Director.
Yeah.
So the last time I went as an attendee, let's see, this is 2016, was 2012. Yes.
Okay.
That sounds right. What were your thoughts as a first-time attendee?
I was going to ask you what your thoughts were.
I beat you to the punch.
It wasn't what I was expecting.
Okay.
And I feel like I say that a lot about a lot of things. I have very specific expectations.
Sure.
The reason it wasn't what I was expecting is because I have a lot of professional things that were very big changes for me. That I'm not sure most people realize the differences.
Right. Yeah. As were it somebody who had been an attendee for several years, they probably wouldn't have noticed a lot of difference. And that is one thing I noticed is, as much as I knew that changed about it, to the casual observer, it looked the same.
It did, except some very big things that I think a lot of people noticed. So I'm not going to say my opinion on this. I'm going to say the opinion of a lot of my customers or people I've spoken to about it. And the biggest complaint I got was, there were two things that were the biggest complaints I got. And another disclaimer. Obviously, you have to throw out the stupid complaints. And people are like, well, the lines were long. There was too many people there. And the food was expensive. Okay, shut your fucking mouth. What were you expecting?
One, the Comic-Con doesn't have any control over the food prices. Two, there was 85,000 people over 4 days. Yeah, you're going to fucking stand in a line.
Are you sure it's 85?
That's the number I heard. That was the tickets sold.
Because I know last year was 92.
Okay.
But anyways, yes, you're right. Obviously, those complaints, you have to throw out the window. The biggest complaint I heard was with panels.
Okay. I have my opinions of the panels.
I know, and I'd love to hear yours when I'm done. If you go over the panel, again, this is what I've been told. If you go over the panel schedule, the majority of it is very much either geared towards cosplay, women, or gay and lesbian.
Yep.
And in the program, they refer to themselves as queer.
Yeah.
Because apparently, they no longer like the term homosexuals. It's now queers.
Right.
Which,
It's like coloreds and blacks and African Americans.
right. So they're taking that back. To the point where one of the panels was called Hard to Swallow Queers in Comics.
Okay. Which I had a problem with that name.
So,
Like, regardless of whatever the content of that panel was, you were essentially making light of male homosexuals at that point.
so here's the... So I was talking to somebody about this. They're like, oh, no, Hard to Swallow is the name of their webcomic. The people who did the panel. Okay, so 2% of the population knew that.
Right.
You didn't think to maybe rename that anyways?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, come up with a different name, and then in the description say, the creators of the Hard to Swallow webcomic present.
Right. So I had a really hard time with the programming. We tried to go to a couple panels. They were horrible.
Yeah.
The other thing I thought was very off-putting for me, at least as an attendee, was some of the panels were geared towards women that had no business being geared towards women.
Right.
For instance, Comic Women Presents Lettering Comic Books.
Right.
Why is that gender specific? And then I found out later, oh no, it's not gender specific. That was open to all people. Comic book women were just the people that were hosting and presenting it.
Great. So based on those two situations that we just talked about, the big problem is they need to figure out a better way to name their panels.
Maybe. Or, again, and I present option B, was it, sure, anyone can attend any panel. That doesn't mean it's still not targeted.
Right.
So the phrase they used was, well, that panel's open for anyone to attend. Of course, they're all open for anyone to attend.
Right. Yeah.
They don't. When you don't walk into Hard to Swallow, they're like, "You gay? No, get out of here, Hall. Come on, hetero, get out of here." Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So yeah, they're all open for everyone to attend. Your panel, right?
So kind of the same thing. Looking over the schedule, a lot of the panels were targeted to try to be inclusive of very specific targets. Like you said, there was a lot of demographics. That's the word I was looking for. There was a lot of panels that were women doing this, women doing that, and yeah, like you said, there's anybody can attend, but it's very much we're trying to get more women into lettering.
Right.
Great. You should just get more letters in general, and not be specific about what's in their pants.
I don't know about you, but I'll actually only read comic books that were lettered by chubby Mexicans because they're the ones who letter to the way that I appreciate it.
Old English style.
That's right.
Yeah.
And everyone has tattoos with their names on them.
And then yeah, there was a lot of things. Like you said, the Hard to Swallow panel. There was like 4 or 5 other panels that were very much about non-heterosexual creators in comics, which I have no problem with that, but why are you targeting that? There was another panel which I loved, was blue screen of comedy, I think is what they called it, and it was an entire panel dedicated to making fun of Windows 95.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Why the fuck am I having that panel at a comic book convention? Like, I get you have a lot of people there that are nerds of various varieties, but why?
So the thing I thought was very interesting, I'll hit on this again. You had mentioned they had panelists for just gay comic books. Now, we attended an image panel.
Yeah.
With a gay creator on their panel.
Yep.
So clearly they don't have to, the gay community doesn't have to have their own specific. Like, that dude was on the panel. I didn't care he was gay. I was interested in what he had to say.
I actually don't even know which one. There was a comic talked about where a character in it was gay. I don't know. I didn't know that any of the creators was gay.
Yeah, the guy who wrote Midnighter, who also wrote that book, turns out he is gay.
Cool. That has no bearing at all whether I read Midnighter.
Now that should
write a good Midnighter story and I'll read it.
That should be the point, and that's what bothers me, is why, like, and maybe I just don't understand. Maybe my life has just been too cush and I haven't felt that type of oppression before in my life. But why? Why does it have to be so finite? Why are you making your market? I mean, the gay community in comic books equals 7%. why are you being so limited? Why can't you be inclusive of everybody? Like, it just boggles my mind.
This is coming from you, who is what I still believe a minority in America.
I mean, we Mexicans are barely a minority, but
it's close. But
thin ice here, whiteys.
But
thin
yeah,
ice.
it's
when it's the same.
As a WASP, I get that, you know, there's certain cultures that have dominated over the last 400 years or whatever it is, but if you're wanting to be all inclusive, you're by specifically targeting certain audiences, you have now become the thing you're fighting against, which is niches and minorities and things like just hey, I'm writing comics about this character, it's good.
Right.
I don't care.
I guess that's kind of my argument is you can start off writing something that appeals to the masses, and when you grow that name, when you become, let's say Jeff Johns was gay, for instance. Okay? Let's pretend. Dude loves the cock. Let's pretend Jeff Johns is gay. Would his book carry more weight that he just built himself as a better writer and then decided to write a comic book geared just specifically to the gay community because he's an established writer? Like, I feel like it would be easier to become an established, well-known writer, to have a larger voice if you were just a quality writer for the masses and then were able to put in your message, as opposed to just starting that niche market and staying in that niche market.
And I'm not saying, like, you know, say you do have a writer, whoever the writer of Midnighter was, and he is gay. Like, write a good comic. Don't necessarily hide the fact that you're gay, but don't shoehorn it into everything.
Sure.
Like, I love me some tits. I don't work in every conversation or everything that I do that's what's happening. Like, if I'm designing something for work, I'm not gonna put that in there. But
you can look for the new Boeing 757 boob edition, double
right?
D's. Like, yeah,
those jet engines are just gonna have nipples painted on the rotors now.
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious,
right?
I'm not gonna lie, I'd fly that.
You'd ride that. But you know, if you're a creator of anything, create what you do well, and let your personal life be your personal life.
Sure.
Don't make it like read my thing because I'm
gay and you're gay, so support me.
So
that was that's the panel gripe.
That was the panel gripe, and then it was a 4-day convention this year.
Yep.
I went 2 days. I didn't go the last 2 days. After the second day, I was like, I've seen the show floor
twice, 3 times almost,
5 times maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. None of the panels that are in the next 2 days are things that I'm like, I absolutely want to see that. So I went half the convention.
So, and that's true. Some of my personal disappointments are things at the show. I mean, also, don't get me wrong. All my complaints, it's not necessarily all on the Comic-Con's fault. Some of it is entirely the exhibitor's fault. Some of it is the vendor's fault. Yep. Some of it is the artist's fault. Like, there are other varying factors that come into play here. But all those factors as a whole made it a subpar experience for me.
Right.
Like, for the exhibitors, there were 2 types of comic book exhibitors there. People who had golden age or silver age stuff I wasn't looking for, or people who just had crap they're trying to get rid of.
Right.
I could not find a long box to try to fill my collection anywhere.
No.
Because it was either they had 19 volumes of Ultimate X-Men 7, or they had Tales of Suspense 4.
Right.
Neither of which is, or it was stores just dedicated to pop figures.
Yeah. Which I'm so over pop figures.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, it's just ridiculous. And this is, I mean, I don't have space even if I was into pop figures to display them. But the fact that it's just, you have literally the the Funko booth.
Yes.
And then you have all the vendors that go to the Funko booth, buy all the figures, bring them back to their booth, mark them up.
And sell them.
And I'm
Correct.
like, no, this is Pogs from 20 years ago all over again.
Not only that, but I also think it's funny that a lot of the pop figures are just, I can't count how many Batmans I've seen just with different color jobs.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on. Don't give me that.
Right.
So and then I was kind of disappointed in some of the artists. Like, Jim Lee was there only did 200 signatures, and it was a raffle.
Okay.
Did you know Brian Michael Bendis was there only to do a panel? Didn't do any signatures whatsoever.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's there just for Powers panel. Dan Didio was there.
Oh, but DC wasn't even there.
They did one panel.
Oh, jeez.
He did the panel, but no signing, no nothing. So I was kind of disappointed in that aspect, that there was actually big name people there who just didn't have a table, didn't do signing, didn't do anything, which kind of, for me, is disappointing.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed meeting people that are lower tier, like, because obviously Jim Lee and them are a higher echelon.
Right.
Like, for instance, Josh Williamson, who I don't think is a lower tier. He's a phenomenal writer. I'm really looking forward to
his run on Flash.
His run on Flash and Birthright. Yep. And it was really nice to meet him. But when he's probably one of the highest names there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all in all, it came together as.
So we had talked about next year maybe doing a different show.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. Our beloved Calgary.
I can taste the steak now.
That's all I'm thinking about is barbecue right now. All right. Guys, thanks. We'll see you next week. I'm going to get. Yeah, so that's the Comic-Con for me.
Okay, yeah. No, I got like I said, I went 2 days. I walked around the floor a bunch, which for me, I told you guys I had a knee surgery a couple weeks ago. So at points that was a little laborious in itself. Well, so
and it's funny. Same thing with me. I'm still not 100% with my pneumonia, so I get really slow sometimes. It's just hard to breathe. So it is what it is.
All right.
Bullets this week.
So you got a stack over there. What's in your stack?
I got Flash number 50. Lucifer number 5, Robin Son of Batman 11, Superman Action Comics 51, which I'm going to talk one thing about, Superman Lois and Clark 7, Titans Hunt 7, The Uncanny Inhumans 7, Extraordinary X-Men 9, James Bond 6, and Superman American Aliens 6.
Okay. I read 5 comics this week. I read Titans Hunt 6 because I missed it last month. I was trying to read 7, but I couldn't get my digital copy to work right for some reason. And then I read Extraordinary X-Men 8 and 9.
Okay.
Caught up on that. I read Divinity 2, number 1.
Yes.
And then I read Ginger Dead Man number 3.
Okay. So really fast, the books I'm going to touch on, both Superman books, because it's really the only hero that matters. Superman Action Comics is number 3 in regards to the Super League. So he's now found out that the Superman from the DCNU, don't look at the art, it's bad art. What? The Superman from DCNU is dying.
Okay.
We know that at the end, before Rebirth, he will be dead.
Okay.
So
that's in a month. Next month he dies.
He dies.
Okay.
Because we know that going forward, it's going to be the Flashpoint Superman in the new universe.
Right.
What I think is really interesting is we are bringing... Dan Jurgens is going to be writing Superman going forward.
Okay.
And clearly we are bringing back his heyday. So for those of you who aren't familiar, Dan Jurgens wrote Death of Superman, Reign of the Superman,
right.
all Funeral for a Friend, all those things. They have announced that when the relaunch happens, we will be seeing Eradicator.
Oh, interesting.
We will be having the new Superboy.
Okay.
We also found out that, do you remember, everyone remembers, the black cover with the blood red S?
I have that cover, as does everybody else.
We will be seeing that in the next couple weeks. That image, that logo will be coming back. So clearly Dan Jurgens is just taking Superman back.
Yeah.
And he's like, nope.
He's like, remember all this shit I did 20 years ago? I'm doing it again.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in.
So I'm curious. The cover says the search for Supergirl, and I saw an image of Supergirl in there. Which Supergirl are we talking about? That's the new 52 Supergirl.
Yes, this is still new 52. Obviously, she will not necessarily be the Supergirl in Rebirth.
Okay.
Rebirth, I'm sure you've seen it. She wears a different costume. That said, and her backstory is a little different. Not sure how that's going to work, but we will see.
Okay.
But yeah, this is the Supergirl that you know.
Okay.
The book I'm going to comment and talk about is going to be Superman American Aliens 6.
Okay.
This book started really strong for me, and it has gotten really off the rails for me.
Fair enough.
And it gotten off the rails for me, and everyone's going to... Because I'm an old man. I don't like change.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
I don't want kids on my damn lawn. I want my Superman to be the Superman that I know and love. The upstanding moral pillar, the one that like no one else can reach, that upper echelon that everyone's like, well, that's not realistic. Yeah, you know why it's not realistic? Because that's what you should try to be. Maybe instead of bringing him down, you should try to rise up to be like him.
Okay.
That is a Superman I love.
Got it.
Max Landis has been doing it. Don't get me wrong. He's been doing a fun job of retelling Superman's origin story. But it's clearly gone off the rails for me. So the first one was Pa Kent trying to teach him how to fly. And the neighbor helped him out. So he was holding him on the roof of the car while the neighbor was driving, and he flew around. And
Okay.
then he lands on Bruce Wayne's yacht during a party, and everyone thinks he's Bruce Wayne, so he parties it up. He sleeps with this girl and all this other stuff. And then the fourth one, he meets Batman, who tells him to knock it off, and then he steals his cape. So in the fifth one, he's wearing Batman's cape, and he's flying around. That one, the story was actually really fun. I enjoyed the fifth one. The sixth one is some of his friends from Smallville come to visit him while he's in Metropolis. But he's kind of an asshole. Like, they're like, do you think he would change? Clark would never change. The first thing he has in his living room is a huge mural of him, of Superman with the S, and he's a complete douche in this whole thing. And you find out the entire town of Smallville knows that he's Superman. And like all this stuff, where you're just like, no, you've gone too far. They made Jimmy Olsen this really weird, eccentric art gallery person. Like, I'm like, nope, Abin Sur, the Green Lantern Abin Sur is the one who had told him that he's Kryptonian, explained to him what Kryptonian means. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Like the ship and all, like, so it's jumped the shark too far for me.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm going to finish it out. It just goes to what? I got one more issue left, so it is what it is.
Okay.
But it's been a little disappointing for me.
All right. I'm going to talk about, and this probably shouldn't be a surprise, Ginger Dead Man #3, which may or may not...
Gingerbread Dead Man or just Ginger Dead Man?
It's Ginger Dead Man.
Okay.
This may be the last issue. I couldn't tell the way they ended it. It was like the end ? So I don't know if there's going to be a fourth issue or not.
Well, I'm guessing, again, I'm totally guessing that issues 1, 2, and 3 were just the first movie. I think there's like 3 movies out, so maybe they just keep that train going.
I should really I should really watch these movies.
I love B-horror movies, buddy.
Yeah. So this comic book. Oh. We saw this in trade at the Action Labs booth at Emerald City, and I'm looking at their other stuff. I'm like, I can see why I don't read anything by Action Lab.
No. God, no.
So if you guys remember me talking a couple weeks ago about the first 2 issues of this, a serial killer's spirit gets baked into a gingerbread man, which results in a killer gingerbread man or a ginger dead man.
That is just hard science.
Yeah.
We've seen it again and again.
There's a drug involved called confection also, so that's part of it. So this issue opens up. If you remember at the end of issue 2, he created a army of mini gingerbread men, which he calls the mini gingers, and a ginger dragon, because why the fuck not? So the gang that was originally trying to cook these drugs into the cookies to sell them is still fighting him. Next door to the bakery where this is taking place, there's another little coffee shop, something like that, where there's a gal who's probably mid-20s, and she runs the place, and then her younger brother's there. And they hear all the screams and stuff coming from next door. She goes to look and sees that the cops that have come to try to stop it are getting killed by the mini gingerbread men. So she's like, all right, it's up to me to stop this. She straps, like, spatulas to her and egg beaters and stuff like that.
Oh, my God.
And so she goes over there to try to stop things, and there's a big fight. And at one point, the ginger dead man's like, it's time to get Game of Thrones on your ass, and he brings out his big dragon, and then like she kills the dragon or whatever. And the issue kind of sort of ends with her hitting the ginger dead man with a spatula, and he flies into an air pot of coffee and melts.
Of course.
So then the police come, and they're like taking statements and stuff like that. And there's a stray dog that runs past the police into the shop. And she's like, is the dog going to be okay? And they're like, yeah, he's fine. He's just knocking stuff over. And then he knocked over a pot of coffee. No big deal. He's just eating cookie dough. So, like, the last panel is him shitting. And then, like, the pile of shit being the ginger dead man.
Yes.
And then there's the end with the question mark.
Because give me my question. Wouldn't their biggest adversary just be a chubby kid who just eats them all?
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So
maybe we should have got that trade.
So yeah, it's you should have got the trade. It was a really funny, entertaining issue again, with a lot of just random, like at one point he calls out his mini gingers, and he's like, "It's time to go cookie kamikaze," and they all just start jumping in people's mouths because again they're infused with the drug, like high doses of it. So when people eat it, they go crazy and kill themselves. So the gingerbread men are crawling into these people's mouths to force them to kill themselves. So that was Gingerbread Man number 3.
I love that you enjoyed that more than I enjoyed my Superman American
Right?
Alien 6. God dang it.
Occasionally, you just need a really funny comic book, and this was mine. So
maybe I'll have one of those next week.
yeah,
All right, speaking of next week, that's it for me.
that's it for me.
See you guys then.
See ya.